I like that you're sitting down. It wasn't bad. This moment, like truly a part of me died when I watched this.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah. Oh, super. Just like shriveled up and died, floated away into the ocean.
Francesca Fiorentini grills Cenk Uygur over his Turning Point USA appearance, questioning Cenk's loyalties. Let's see what Francesca and Cenk have to say.
It's a little bit more complicated, but overall, the massive MAGA is anti-immigration, and I obviously don't agree with them on that. I'm an immigrant, and I'm first generation. I wasn't even born here, right? So this talk of deportations, and now this crazy thing that one of them came out with, denaturalizing people, that's just nuts, right? So and I say that to their face in all the shows that I go on. I go, look, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, I think you're nuts on this, right? But now we do agree on some things, anti-war, anti-corruption, etc. Even if I know Trump is massively corrupt and they've been misdirected. But within that chaos of the right wing, interesting different coalitions can break out, as you're seeing today with these different coalitions within MAGA. Yeah. So imagine if we had, this is really wild, right? But you've got to take a first step to be able to get to this ultimate conclusion. Imagine if we had voting blocks that weren't strictly Republican or Democrat or strictly MAGA or not, and we could then join the voting block, in this case with Vivek and Ilan, and protect these visas, right? Or in another case, we could join the populist right-wing bloc and prevent a war. Again, those are like huge dreams.
I think it's sort of a deal with the devil either way. I do want to just step back. I want to step back from the news a little bit and truly understand what you believe you are doing and who you believe you represent. Just really briefly, who you believe you represent when you go on these shows. You say we a lot, and I'm not sure who you are referring to when you say we. Is it yourself? Is it you? And is it Ana and you and Ana? Is it all of TYT? Is it the broader left? Who do you think you represent when you go on these shows to make the case about how there's commonality?
Yeah. So great question again. So first off, for folks who don't know, Young Turks is the flagship show of the TYT network. So the TYT network is the whole left. So Franny's on the TYT network. This show's on the TYT network, and at least on the podcasting side. And so Franny is to the left of me on many issues. So is Jordan Ewell. So is so many other people, right? And so I never block anyone from stating their opinions. And I like that we have the whole range, right? And in the past, we've had David Pakman as part of the net, like the YouTube network broadly.
But who's the we, Cenk? Who's the we? You've said these things before, and I have thoughts on them. But who's the we?
So that's TYT. TYT is that whole spectrum of left-wing thought. And as you know, Franny, we debate on the show all the time.
We don't. We really, I just want to be fair. We don't. Because if we did, we would have had this conversation many, many times, but we don't. Number one,
no.
Aren't they debating right now? Isn't that what I'm watching here? So I don't know what she's talking about.
Main host, Ana Kasparian is. Number two, I am rarely the fill-in host. Jordan Ewell has been filling in quite frequently. Number three, when I do fill in as a host or as a guest, it depending on the story is when we can actually sometimes maybe squeeze in 1 or 3 minutes of debate, but we have to keep it moving. That is the job. The job is to do the news. It's to get to all the different things. So I just want to say that it's very unfair to say that these debates have happened on the main show. Certainly not with me, maybe once around trans issues, but I want to leave that aside. Who is we? Who are you saying when you say we?
Okay, but let me address that real quick. But yes, but I've gotten into so first of all, we do the news, so we debate within that news story. Is it a shorter period of time? Yes. Sometimes I'll do longer ones. I did a longer one with Jordan Ewell and Jules Sulzdayev, et cetera. And here we are within the network, et cetera. So now that's TYT is the left in general. Young Turks is the flagship show. That's me and Ana. And so I would say that we as in me and Ana are maximum populist, but not maximum left, right? So I am maximum left on some issues, but not all issues. And so those are two different political spectrums. There's the left-right spectrum and the establishment populist spectrum. Now I see Emma Vigeland defending the establishment, which is mind-blowing.
Ari, I want to leave that
Okay.
aside, but I just want to, because I really want to talk about what you are doing and what you believe you are doing. And I want to just explain, by showing, and I want to ask you what you think the goal is of what you are doing. But here was a moment where you were on TPUSA's on Turning Point USA's conference, and Charlie Kirk, who is a Christian nationalist, he's an avowed Christian nationalist. TPUSA has had wildly racist and white supremacists associated with them, including inviting people like Nick Fuentes to speak. No matter what you think of his thoughts on BlackRock, here is him asking you about left media. And I gotta say, Cenk, this one sucked real hard for me. And you also, I think, have been using these opportunities to talk a lot about the left to the right.
I think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks.
Yeah, so we have TYT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT that's in the left-wing ecosystem.
I just want to stop and say I'm excited to hear which ones you like, given that you just sort of insulted Emma Vigeland just now. I'm curious which ones you actually do still support.
To be fair, he didn't insult Emma Vigeland. He just said that she's establishment. She was supporting the establishment. That's all he said. He didn't criticize her or say, well, he didn't insult her is what I should say. But to a crazy leftist like Francesca Fiorentini here, to any of these leftists, any sort of disagreement is, okay, well, you're automatically the enemy. And it seems like she's doing a questioning here of Cenk, like, hey, where does your allegiances lie, comrade? And listen, yeah, Cenk, you know my opinions on this whole situation. I think he's just trying to hop on the bandwagon. But it doesn't change the fact that Francesca is acting a little wild here in terms of this questioning of Cenk Uygur and his loyalties and such.
Your own, but I'm going to keep going, Cenk. Hang on.
So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right?
Okay, so there you are, and
Yeah, love it. Stick with 100% on what I just said there. I'm 100% right about that. So let's discuss.
Yeah, let's discuss. You had your say there, and you've been saying various degrees of that same thing. And I gotta say, I watched this whole I watched the whole clip, and it started off, and I was like, this is pretty good. This is good. Pretty good interview. I like that you're sitting down. It wasn't bad. This moment, truly a part of me died when I watched this.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, super. Just shriveled up and died, floated away into the ocean. Here's what happens. A couple things. He asks you about left-wing media and why there isn't more left-wing media. Which already, as you are there, in the sort of kingdom of turning points, is that's such a dig. Why are you guys so weak is effectively what he's saying. And instead of pointing out the way that TPUSA has been bankrolled by Republican mega donors out of Chicago and many other places for years now, and talking about how the Daily Wire was funded by the fracking brothers, the Wilkes brothers. Now they're fishing for new, investors, whatnot, but that there is so much money on the right. He handed this answer to you on a fucking platter, and all you said was, you know what? You guys are really good at being welcoming. People just like you. Cenk, They've got all the money.
I didn't say people just
what are
like
you
me. That's very
talking about?
Yeah. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, the left, you could point to all the bank rolling and the funding that the left and Democrats get from corporations too. What's your point? Like, both sides are funded by somebody. You need money in order to do stuff. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Like, if you want any sort of power, you need money. You need funding from something. So I don't know what your point is. I could point to the left and be like, well, they're funded by this, that. It's funny though. I was laughing when she was like, I like this. He's sitting down. He's like, what? But this is but it's funny because this is exactly like Cenk's point. Like, again, I totally believe that he's just jumping on the bandwagon, trying to grift here and stuff like that. Okay, so this is not me like endorsing Cenk or anything. However, I'm going to be fair here and say that he was right on that statement with Charlie Kirk. He was not wrong there. Some people say, like, when it comes to the right wing, they're a little too welcoming, then that's a flaw, and maybe that there's the point to there. But when it comes to the left, yeah, if you disagree with them, they push you out. You're no longer one of them. And Francesca over here is proving Cenk's point by just him going on TPUSA and having a conversation with Charlie Kirk. Well, we can't have that. We can't have that. And Francesca Fiorentini has to now question him, sit him down in the interrogation chair and say, Cenk, what is your deal, comrade? Why did you go on the Traitors show, comrade? Are you a traitor now? What are you doing, comrade? Why did you go on the other side show, comrade? Are you a traitor? That's what's going on here. Cenk isn't wrong in what he said, and she's proving his point. And all these lefties prove his point every single day. And that is why they lost, because they eventually pushed enough people out that they don't have enough to have the majority anymore. They have no one but themselves to blame. What do you guys think about this? Sound off on the comment section below. Smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies on the screen for you to click away and enjoy.